is going on? Welcome to today's Kinstetch class. In today's class, we're going to work on spine mobility. Our goal with this is for the spine to be able to segmentally, or one by one, flex and extend. This is important for spine health, but it's also important for spine performance in the ability to move in exercises and also in daily life. We're first going to start in CatCow. So that's going to be a hands and knees position on the floor. Just as an alternative before we get started, if you don't want to be on your hands because maybe your wrists don't like being in this position, you can use yoga blocks. I would recommend 2 yoga blocks and then going ahead and putting your elbows right over top. Now the setup from here is the same. Your shoulders are going to be right over top of the elbows and your knees are going to be right under the hips. That keeps our body nice and stacked. So that is an alternative position. I'm going to actually demonstrate my reps with my hands. All right, so we're first going to start in cat, which is a completely rounded spine position. All right, so let's get into our position here. Knees are going to be right under the hips, wrists under the shoulders. From there, we're in cat, so we're in a completely rounded spine position. I want you to think about your tailbone, your chest, and your head. Those are 3 different distinct points. First, we're going to go starting at the tailbone, go into cow. So now we're going to start to segmentally arch, segmentally extend, working all the way to your chest, and eventually to the chin and the eyes. Now we're in full cow, which is complete extension. Now starting at my head, or my chin and eyes, I'm going to start going down, looking down my body. Now caving in my chest or getting my upper back to the ceiling, and eventually working all the way through to where I'm now tucking my tailbone. All right, and now I am in complete cow. So now we're going to, complete cat. So now we're going to work back and forth between those 2 positions. One more rep each way. Last rep. All right, great job. Now we're going to do a very similar thing, but we're going to be on the floor. So now let's go ahead and be in a bridge position. So for this, we'll be on our back, knees roughly 90 degrees or so. We'll take a yoga block, put it in between the thighs. From here, we're going to take our hands, put them right on the crest of the hips. The first thing that I want you to do is think of tilting, all right, your hips forward, which is going to create a little bit of an arch in your lower back. Think of your hips being a cup of water. Imagine as if you were trying to dump water forward. All right, this is our starting position. Now from here, still starting with the hips, imagine like you were going to dump that water backwards, or think of scooping your tailbone under. From there, we will start to lift the hips as we squeeze that yoga block. We're going to lift as high as we can. And when you can't go any further, all right, which I can from here, at the highest point that is off the floor, all right, you're going to start trying to segmentally work yourself down. So for me, that's going to be some point off the ground here. I'm going to start working those vertebrae down, trying to keep my hips and butt off the floor, and eventually working all the way back down, and then finishing that rep with those hips tucked forward. All right, so that's what we're doing. Go ahead and get your setup position, and now join me for some reps. So first thing is to squeeze that yoga block. From there, tilt that water backwards or start to scoop the hips up, lifting off the ground. Keep squeezing that yoga block. When you can't lift any higher, at the highest segment that is off the ground, start to one by one, put everything back down to the floor, finish the rep, tilting that water forward. Next rep, tilt that water behind you, scoop up, 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 keep squeezing that block. From here, one by one, put everything back down to the ground. Finish that rep. Let's go 2 more. Last one, finish that rep, squeeze. Start to put everything back down. Ooh. That one is definitely a lot harder than it looks. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and flow through those one more time here. So let's first start in our cat-cow. We'll start in cat, that completely rounded spine posture. Everything is nice and stacked. Starting at the lowest point, so right at your tailbone there, go into cow, so start extending the spine. From here, starting at the chin and the eyes, going into cat. Last one each way, guys. Ooh. All right, really, really good stuff. Should be feeling a lot going on at the movement, at the vertebrae in between the spine and the muscles around there. Really good job. So let's finish out this series here with one more set on the segmental bridge. All right, so feet roughly 90 degrees. Hands are gonna go on the hips here. First move, think spill that water forward, all right, or create a little bit of an arch in the lower back. From there, gently squeeze that yoga block, spill that water behind you, start to scoop, lifting those hips off the ground. Once you can't go any higher, for me, that's about there. Now start to, one by one, work all those segments back down to the floor. Finishing out that rep, tilting the water forward. Next rep there, squeeze that block, tilt that water behind you. Coming back down, Ooh, shaking. Again, tilt that water. Next rep. Let's go one more here, guys. Great work. Now start to bring everything one by one. Ooh, back down to the floor. Woo. All right, guys. That completes our first series here. If you wanted to do more, feel free to take that for 1 to even 2 more sets of probably 5 to 6 reps. We're gonna go ahead and move into a standing position. All right, so the next series of drills that we're gonna do, or the next drill that we're gonna do is called wall peel. The goal of this drill is to work on segmental flexion and extension through the thoracic spine, which is the upper and middle portions of the back. So think that's the base of your neck, right, down to just kind of where your ribs end down there, just before your lower back. So we're trying to work on creating more space and movement in between those vertebrae. So we're gonna use the wall as a feedback tool here. For our setup, I want you to be, you might not be able to see in this video due to the size of the room, but I'd like for your feet to be about a foot-ish or so away from the wall, and you're gonna be in like a quarter of a squat here, all right? I want you to then think that your tailbone, all right, or the lowest portion of the spine like we worked on in our CatCow, and belly button area are more or less put to the wall. So think if somebody had a band or a towel or something right across from where your belly button was, you want that to stay to the wall. Now the reason that is because think pretty much belly button to tailbone, that's our lower spine. So we want to keep that area still or pressed to the wall. Now we're going to work on moving the upper portion, right, the thoracic spine, to help train our brain, train our bodies to work this part of the spine a little bit different than that part. All right. So from here we'll start with everything pressed to the wall, and we'll take the hands across the arms. Now starting with the chin and the eyes, right, like you were going down your shirt like a zipper, I want you to segmentally, one by one, try to peel those vertebrae off of the wall. Once you get to your belly button area, which for me is about here or so, right, then you're gonna stop. Now, you're gonna, one by one, try to segmentally peel those vertebrae back to the wall as you keep your rounded position, working yourself back up. That's one. We'll keep going. Chin the eyes, you're going straight down. Coming back up. So one more here, guys. All right, so we'll go ahead and take a little breather on that one, but we are gonna roll right into another set there. So in the second set here, again, same focus. Really try to build on what you felt on that first set, just peeling yourself off the wall and coming back off. All right, so we'll find our setup. Feet about a foot length away or so, a little bit of a quarter squat. You want to think your, all right, tailbone and lower back are more or less flat to the wall here, and now we'll start working segmentally. One more here, guys. All right, so that was 2 sets there. Now we're gonna go ahead and move on. All right, to finish out today's class, we're gonna do some spine cars. For this, I'm actually gonna have you use a yoga block, and we're gonna use this to block off the lower body, basically give the hips some tension to hold, to really work on isolating the spine. So let's go ahead and take that yoga block, we'll put it between the legs, doesn't really matter how you have it, you just wanna feel it up against the upper portion of your thighs or your groin. From here, let's get those feet in the floor, and I want you to give that block a nice gentle squeeze. From there, we're gonna use that tension to hold those hips still. So imagine that somebody had their hands around your hips and were holding you still the entire time. From here, we'll take the arms and cross. Now we're gonna bring in some of the movements that we worked on over the wall into this drill. So let's first go ahead and start segmenting one by one like that wall peel and rounding the spine, squeezing that block. From here, I'm gonna turn to my left using the logo of my shirt as a reference point and scan the room, turn to the left as far as I can. From there, side bend, tilt that shoulder down to the heel or the hip. From there, extend, making yourself really tall, squeeze that block, rotate to the other side, side bend, and then come back down, flexing upon yourself, rounding everything, and now we're gonna keep going this direction for 4 more reps. Last rep this way. All right, great work. Let's go ahead and come up into a tall position, going back the other way. Reverse, so first move, flexing down upon yourself, squeezing that yoga block. From here, rotate, turn the logo on your shirt. From here, side bend, then make yourself nice and tall, squeeze that block, side bend, and we're coming back around. That's 1, we got 4 more here. here, guys. Best rep of the day. All right, guys, that finishes out today's class. Great work. With any of this spine stuff here, if you do want to expand on that and add an extra rep or two, feel free to do so. This work is also great to sprinkle in throughout your day. So if you've been sitting 20 to 30 minutes, feel free to get up, hit a little CatCow, maybe a little wall peel, a spine car, just interjecting more movement in throughout your day, sending those nutrients into the joints via movement will help keep a happy, healthy spine, but also keep you moving well. So hope you enjoyed.